Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. I got a chance to take a look at the trailer for Transformers 1. Now, Transformers 1 is supposed to be the origin story of the Transformers and chronicles the early days of Orion Pax, who would grow on to become Optimus Prime, and D16, who would go on to become Megatron. And the supporting cast is rounded out with Alita 1, Optimus Prime's girlfriend, and B-126, who would go on to become Bumblebee. And everything about this trailer is showing me a lot of things to love. I love the fact that they're starting the Transformers lore from the beginning, and I love the overall execution of concept in making this film accessible to younger viewers. I mean, this whole film is very family friendly. That's one thing I love about this movie, is that it's very family friendly and allows older Transformers fans, who are basically the age of fathers and grandfathers, to be able to share Transformers with their kids and their grandkids. So overall, the overall concept for this film is a fun, family-friendly one, and I really like the fact that this whole film is completely computer animated and basically builds on the awesome computer-generated sequence that was a part of the Bumblebee reboot movie. Now, that whole opening sequence of the original Bumblebee movie that was completely computer animated was absolutely fantastic, and ever since I saw that original sequence, I have wanted them to do a completely full Transformers movie, just that's all completely computer animated. And Transformers 1 really builds on the fantastic animation that we got as related to the original Bumblebee reboot in showing us the Transformers, and also builds on the awesome story that was a part of Transformers Rise of the Beast. Now, I know that Rise of the Beast didn't really perform well at the box office, and some people weren't fans of it, but Rise of the Beast was one of the most faithful adaptations to the old Cluster animated series, and Rise of the Beast basically was like a Transformers episode come to life, and it was another step in the right direction. And Transformers 1 also takes another step in the right direction towards writing the Transformers franchise and making something that stays true to the spirit of the original 1980s animated series and gets us off the dark and gritty road of those horrible Michael Bay movies that call themselves Transformers movies but have nothing to do with Transformers at all, in my opinion. And Transformers 1 basically is what I see as a film that basically takes us to the heart of what Transformers is going to be about as related to a computer animated series, as related to films, and lays a nice foundation for building an all animated Transformers series of movies that are done in computer animation. I mean, everything is there as related to the elements for a just really great Transformers movie, with Transformers 1 that is just completely family friendly. I mean, I like everything here as related to staying true to the Transformers lore and staying true to the heart of the source material and expanding upon it. I mean, everything here is really rock solid as related to Transformers 1, laying that foundation to the beginning of the Transformers lore. However, the only issue I have with Transformers 1 is the fact that the script really is showing me that it's really looking to try to capitalize on the popularity of the MCU, and that may be the Achilles heel to what I would believe to be a truly great Transformers movie. Now, one of the problems I'm seeing with Transformers 1 from the trailer is the fact that they're going to go with this whole script that is just filled with all of this really unnecessary humor, which is trying to capitalize on the popularity of MCU movies like Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder and many of the other MCU films, which overcompensate for their weak stories by trying to add lots of humor, and that could be the thing that undermines the entire story of Transformers 1. It could really undermine the story because all of that unnecessary humor really takes us out of the fantasy of seeing Cybertron in its golden age, and we really don't need that at all, and it just really shows how the writers are insecure and not really confident about their story. Now, as a fantasy writer myself, I understand that you need to have moments of humor and levity to break up a serious story, and when it's done well, like in 1977 Star Wars A New Hope, where you get Obi-Wan telling C-3PO to let the Wookiee win, you get a nice little lighthearted moment that breaks up the overall very serious story. And that levity can basically give the audience a break from being immersed in a world when it's done well. But when you add too much humor, like what was done in the case of Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder and many other MCU movies like Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, what happens is that the audience gets taken out of the story, and that prevents the audience from having a critical question answered that could impact a movie's box office, and that question is, why should we care? Because it becomes hard to care about a movie when that movie doesn't take itself seriously, and when you're doing fantasy movies, you really want people to take your story seriously to a point. Yes, you can have moments of humor here and there that break up that whole seriousness, but you cannot make the entire movie a comedy because it's not meant to be a comedy. No, it's meant to be science fiction, and Transformers 1 looks like it has a lot of promise as related to being a great sci-fi movie about Cybertron's golden age and Orion Pax and D16 looking to go from being lowly robots, hoping to achieve greatness. I mean, there's a lot here that I really, again, love about this movie, but the only thing that disappoints me is that the script looks like it's trying to cut and paste a story model from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you don't need to do that because Transformers in and of itself is a great story on its own. And when it comes to Transformers, I mean, I grew up with Transformers and they were awesome. And when I look at Rise of the Beast, I mean, that was a perfect Transformers movie. Absolutely perfect all around. If you watch the old 80s animated series, it basically was like a frame-by-frame, shot-by-shot film that basically captured the heart of an old 80s Transformers movie and captured the heart and soul of the 90s Beast Wars series and allowed us to see G1 and Beast Wars come together the way they did in Season 3. I mean, there was just so much awesome stuff in Transformers Rise of the Beast, and they kept the story serious, and while you had Mirage being comic relief here and there and moments of humor here and there with Wheeljack, it basically fit in organically into the story, but I don't want to see Transformers 1 go down the road of the MCU where we get this insecure humor, which is there because these creators are overcompensating because they don't have confidence in their story. No, what I want to see is a confident Transformers movie that stays true to the Transformers lore and shows us how awesome these characters are. That's what I want to see, and Transformers 1 is a great step in the right direction, and a film that I basically want to take a look at. I mean, I didn't go to the theater to see Rise of the Beast, and I really regret that because that movie was absolutely fantastic. But when I look at Transformers 1, I see another step in the right direction. I see a really great story that brings the Transformers to life and brings it to life for a new generation of kids. I mean, I love everything about this movie except for the execution of all of the stupid jokes. I mean, everything here is great as related to this being the kind of family movie that could be a blockbuster, because we really do need a family movie. I mean, this is a movie that you could take the whole family go and see, and many Gen Xers can feel, I believe from the trailer, feel safe about taking their kids to go see this movie based on what was presented in the trailer. I mean, I see a lot of promise with this trailer, and I see a film that basically, again, takes me back to 1984 when I was 11 years old and I first heard about the Transformers, and everything that got me excited about Transformers is in Transformers 1, and this movie looks to be a lot of fun, and one that I would possibly, based on the trailer, definitely recommend people go out here and spend some money on, because this is the one that is on the road to giving us that awesome sequence that we saw in Bumblebee's reboot movie. I mean, if we get more computer-generated Transformers movies like this, then I would say Transformers will be around for another generation, because the G1 fans will finally have movies that are on the level of the G1 animated series. Now, if you want to pick up some of my action-packed fantasy fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, like the books of the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, my vampire novel, Eternal Night, or my black sorority novel, The Thetas, or my business novel, A Recipe for Success, you can find all of those books in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com, and you can also pick up my first full comic, Esteem No Good Deed, on Amazon for Kindle for 99 cents, and that comic is family friendly and one that you can share with readers of all ages. And if you want to check out my other full comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, you can find that comic in paperback format on Lulu.com right now, and I'm working on trying to get a digital format of that comic to Amazon's Kindle, so I'm hoping to get that comic to the marketplace, but for now you can get a paperback copy on Lulu for the same price that you can get it on the 2022 Kickstarter. And if you want to help me be able to make more videos about comic science fiction and fantasy, and help me to get my next full comic to the marketplace, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in digital format at Amazon.com, Google Play, Draft2Digital, and other digital booksellers, or pick up your paperback copy on May 24th. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.